The nationwide lockdown as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic has impacted everyone of all ages and all walks of life. This is no different for university students, as uni buildings have closed and courses and lectures have moved online, leaving the usually busy Nottingham Trent campus now deserted. As travel restrictions increased, many students decided to return to their permanent homes and move out of their university accommodation. However, some have chosen to stay in Nottingham and remain in university halls such as Gill Street North.
With my home and family dynamic, it wasn't possible for me to pack up and go home, but I quite like it here anyway, and I like having the space to do work, and the flatmates I've got here as well. It's a lot better than being back at home.
All of Nottingham Trent's buildings, including the library and the Students' Union, are now closed, meaning that students no longer have access to any of the university's facilities. However, for some, simply staying in Nottingham and remaining in the city where they are studying is important.
I associate living in Nottingham and in my halls as doing work, whereas I worry if I went home I would then not particularly keep up with my assignments due in.
The university has been trying to help its students any way it can and has announced that it will waive all third term accommodation fees for those who don't return to Nottingham this year. I asked Zoe and Jess whether this had affected their decision to stay in the city.
They have said that if you leave you can have your term 3 reimbursed, which was presented after the lockdown began, so I feel in a way the university is almost encouraging students to leave, which is obviously not great.
For people who aren't here for the third term, being able to get their money back for the third term of the accommodation rent, I think is very useful. It doesn't help me personally, but I think it's a very good idea for students who need the extra money to be able to get that money back for all this time they're missing from uni and accommodation that they're not going to be staying in.
In line with the government guidelines, the university is telling students still in accommodation to remain there and that they will be supported throughout this unique time. For now, the message is clear. Students should remain where they are for their own safety. Charlie Herbert, CBJ News.